right, Shabbat Shalom, everyone. It's so good to be together. Welcome to everyone joining us in the sanctuary, and welcome to everyone joining us via live stream, and welcome to the celebration of Robbie's Bar Mitzvah. For those of you joining us in the sanctuary, you all should have a Siddur and a Neitz Chaim, so hopefully if anybody needs anything, just let me know so we can make sure you have that. Those joining us this morning in the Haftarah, you're in a quiet space that gives you the kavanah, the focus to enjoy and to participate in this morning's service. You have all the ritual items you need, whether it's a talit, a kippah, or a head covering, and you're ready to begin this journey with us. So we're going to begin the way we begin every B'nai Mitzvah celebration, with our Bar Mitzvah receiving his talit from his parents. So Robbie, where is your talit?
I put it up there.
It's on the shelf.
So come on, I want to see it. I was looking. I was hoping to see it. Bring mom and dad up. I was hoping to get a sneak peek. There, I see it. Give it to mom and dad so they can give it to you. Let's see, gorgeous. Okay, nice and loud the bracha before you put it on. Into the mic, the bracha.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehitatev b'tzitzit.
Amen.
Amen, which thanks God for the mitzvah of wrapping ourselves in tzitzit. So go ahead. You got a real talit there.
Wow, I'm correct. It's beautiful.
Okay. Let's see. Turn around. Let's see you.
Very nice.
Perfect. You're ready for rabbinical school, and that's talit. Awesome. Okay, now, before you go to rabbinical school, though, we should daven, right? And you should have your first davening experience in that gorgeous talit. So let's go ahead. Go sit with mom and dad. Take your talit, and you'll open up your siddur. And all of us, we're going to rise, page 65, as we begin our service, thanking God for many of the things we have in our lives that we often overlook or take for granted, like the ability to stand upright, and the difference, knowing the difference between morning and night, and having a closet full of clothing to choose from, and a pantry full of food to choose from. All of those blessings we thank God for, and so much more. Page 65.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lasach b'bina להבחין בין יום ובין לילה.
Amen.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, שעשני בצלמו.
Amen.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, שעשני ישראל.
Amen.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, שעשני בן חורין. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, פוקח עברים. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, מביש ערומים. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, מתיר אסורים. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, זוקף כפופים. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, רוקע הארץ על המים. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, שעשה לי כל צורכי. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, המכין מצרי גבר. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, עוזר ישראל בגבורה. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, עוטה ישראל בתפארה. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, הנותן ליעף כוח.
Amen. We remain standing as we continue with Pesukei Zimra, page 83. We begin to set that focus, that kavanah, setting our minds ready to stand before God. Page 83, praising God for creating the world.
Baruch Shema v'haya haolam, Baruch Hu, Baruch Oseh Bereshit, Baruch Omer v'yoseh, Baruch Ezer Mekayem, Baruch Merachem al haaretz, Baruch Merachem al habriot, Baruch Meshalem Sachar Tov l'reyav, Baruch Alad וקיים לנצח. ברוך פודה ומציל, ברוך שמו, ברוך אתה אדוני מלך העולם יחיד חיי העולמים, מלך משבח ומפאר שמו הגדול. ברוך אתה אדוני מלך מעולם בת-משפחות.
Amen. We are seated except for Robbie as we continue with Ashrei, page 96. Come on, you're going to help lead us with Ashrei.
אשרי יושבי ביתך, עוד יהלוך סלה.
אשרי העם שככה לו, אשרי העם שאדוני אלוהיו.
תהילה לדוד, ארוממך אלוהי המלך, ועברך שמך לעולם ועד.
בכל יום אברכך, ועלה שמך לעולם ועד.
גדול אדוני ומהול מאוד, ולגדולתו אין חקר.
ולדו ישבח מעשיך, וגבורותיך יגידו.
הדר כבוד הודך, ודברי נפלאותיך עשיך.
ועזוז נרותיך יאמרו, וגדולתך אספרנה.
זכר רב טובך יביאו, וצדקתך ירננו.
אנון ורחום אדוני, ערך אפיים וגדול חסד.
טוב אדוני לכל, ורחמיו על כל מעשיו.
ידוך אדוני כל מעשיך, וחסידיך יברכוך.
כבוד מלכותך יאמרו, וגבורותיך ידברו.
להודיע לבני אדם גבורותיו, וכבוד אדם מלכותו.
מלכות המלכות כל עולמים, וממשלתך בכל דור ודור.
סומך אדוני לכל הנופלים, וזוקף לכל הכיפופים.
עיני כל אליך יסברו, ואתה נותן להם את אוכלם בעיתו.
פותח את ידך, ומשפיע לכל חי רצון.
צדיק אדוני בכל דרכיו, וחסיד בכל מעשיו.
הרב אדוני לכל קורב, לכל אשר יקראו באמת.
רצון יראיו יעשה, ואת שבתם ישמע ויושיע.
שומר אדוני כל רבה, וכל השעים ישמיד.
תהילת אדוני ידבר פיו, ויברך כל בשר שם קודשו לעולם ועד.
ואנחנו נברך יה מעתה ועד עולם. Hallelujah.
Well done. You want to go back to Mom and Dad? And we continue our service, page 100, Psalm 150. The final psalm in the book of Psalms talks about praising God using all of our instruments and our holiest instrument, which is our breath, which reveals the words and the meaning of our soul. Page 100, Psalm 150.
Hallelujah, hallelujah, bekodesho. Hallelujah, hallelujah, bekiyahuzo. Hallelujah, begvorotav. Hallelujah, kerov gulo. Hallelujah, beteka shofar. Hallelujah, benevel bechino. Hallelujah, hallelujah, betzof machol. Hallelujah, hallelujah, b'minim v'yilgav. Hallelujah, b'tziltzilei shama. Hallelujah, b'tziltzilei shua. Kol neshama tehalaya. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Kol neshama tehalaya. Hallelujah, hallelujah.
As we conclude this section, you'll notice that this is an abbreviated experience because of the time we're living in. We continue on page 105, third paragraph, leading us right out of Sukkot Zimra into Shachrit. We're on the middle of page 105.
Shochen ad marama v'kadosh shemo v'chatuv ranenu tzadikim b'Adonai la'yisharim navatehila b'fi sharim tithalal u'divrei tzadikim titbarach ובשן חסידים תצרם העם, ובקרב קדושים תתקדש, ובמקלות רביבות עמך בית ישראל. להודות, להלל, לשבח, לפעל, לרומם, להדר, לברך, להעלה ולקלס על כל דברי שירות ותשבחות דוד ונישי עבדך משכך.
Once again, rise as we're on the top of page 106.
ישתבח שמך לעד מלכנו, האל המלך הגדול והקדוש בשמיים ובארץ, כי לך נאה אדוני אלוהינו באלוהי אבותינו. שיר שמך הלל וזמרה, עוז ממשלה נצח, גדולה וגבורה תהילה ותפארת, קדושה ומלכות, ברכות והוראות מעתה ועד עולם. ברוך אתה אדוני המלך הגדול בתשבחות, אל ההודות אדוני הנפלאות, הבוכה בשירי זמרה. מלך אלוהי העולמים, יתגדע ויקדש שמי רבה, ויאמר ברכותי וימלך מלכותי, בחייכון ויומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל. בעגלה ובזמן הקריב במהרה אמן. אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ליומי יומיה, יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר וירמה וינשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי קודשו בריחו לילה מן כה בחטא ושירתה, תשבחתה ונחמתה, תמירן בעלמה ונאמר אמן. ברכו את אדוני המבורך. ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני מלך העולם, יוצר אור וחושך, עושה שלום ובורא את הכל.
Amen. We are seated as we continue silently, middle page 107.
אין כאחד אדוני בעולם הזה, ואין זולתך מלכנו לחיי העולם הבא. אפס פרצך גאולני לימות המשיח, ואין דומה לך משיענו לתחיית המתים. אל אדוני כל המעשים, ברוך מבורך בפי כל נשמה, כל בטבע מלא עולם, דעת ותבונה סובבים אותו. המתגח חיות הקדוש, בנדע בכבוד על המקבו, זכות ומשול לפני חיסו, חסד ורחמים לפני כבודו, טובים מאורות שברא אלוהינו, יצרם בדעת בינה ובשכל, כוח וגבורה נתן בהם, להיות מושלם בקרב תבל. מלאי מזיר מפיקים נגע, נאה זיווה מכל העולם. שמחים בצאתם, וששים בבואם, עושים באמר רצון כהונם. פאר וכבונונים לשמו, צולה ורינה לזכר מלכותו. קרא לשמש ויזרחו, רעב והקין צורת הלבנה. שבחנו נמלו קוצבה מערום, תפארת גדולה. שרפים ואופנים וחיות הקודש. לאלה ששבת מכל המעשים משווית לה, וישב על כיסא כבודו. תתברך מושיענו השבח מעשה ידיך, ועל מוראו שעשית יפארך סלה. תתברך צורנו מכינו וגואלנו, ברק קדשים ישתבח שמך לעד מלכנו. וכולם פותחים את פיהם בקדושה ובטהרה, בשירה וזמרה, ומברכים ומשבחים ומפארים ומעריצים ומקדישים וממליכים את שם האל המלך הגדול הגיבור והנורא, קדוש הוא. לאו תשלי יצרם בנחת רוח, בשפה ורבנימה קדושה, כולם כאחרונים ואומרים ביראה, קדוש 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 אדוני צבאות, מלך כל הארץ כבודו. והאופנים וחיות הקודש מראש קדום מתנשאים לעומת שרפים, לעומתם משבחים ואומרים ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו. O חדש הציון תאיר, O חדש הציון תאיר, ונזכה כולנו מרע לאורו, מרע לאורו. ברוך אתה אדוני יוצא המאורות.
We're on the top of page 111, which will lead us right into the Shema. So Robbie, come on up as you'll be leading us in Shema on page 112.
Robbie, I want you to gather all 4 tzitzit in your hand. Don't worry if the thing slides off your shoulder. That's what these full-size talitot do. It's we call a badge of honor. You gather all 4, and everybody in the room wearing a talit's doing the same exact thing. We hold the tzitzit all with the Shema. וקרבתנו לשמך הגדול באמת, להודות לך יחרך ביה, וברוך אתה אדוני, הבוחר בעמו ישראל באהבה.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha ubechol nafshecha ubechol meodecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibartam bam v'shiftecha b'veitecha uvaleftecha b'derech U'eshoftecha u'bkumecha u'bshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu le'totafot b'neinecha u'chtavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'visharecha.
We continue the page quietly. We're at the top of page 113. This is the paragraph in the Torah which commands us to wear our tzitzit, to look upon our tzitzit, and every time we say the word tzitzit, we give them a kiss. Page 113. Vayomer Adonai Moshe lemor daber el bnei Yisrael v'amarta alehem v'yasu lahem tzitzit al konfei v'gdeihem ledorotam v'natnu al tzitzit hakanaf tetzil techilet v'aya lachem letzitzit uritem oto וזכרתם כל מצוות אדוני ועשיתם אותם ולא תעתרו אחרי לבבכם ואחרי עיניכם אשר אתם זונים אחריהם.
למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני Adonai Eloheihem, Asher hotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim lehiyot lahem lelokim. Ani Adonai Eloheihem, Adonai Eloheihem, Emet.
Yashar koach. Okay, go back to mom and dad. You'll be up in a few minutes again. Well done.
לדובתו הוא קיים שמו קיים וכיסו נכון ומלכותו ואמונתו לעד קיימת. כל ענבל אבותינו יצילנו את ישועתנו תודנו מצילנו מעולם שמך אין אלוהים זולתך, עזרת אבותינו אתה ומעולם. תהילות לעליון ברוך הוא ומבורך משה בני ישראל לך אנו שירה בשמחה רבה ואמרו כולם מי כמוך באלים אדוני מי כמוך נדע בקודש נרע תהילות אוסף אלה שירה חדשה שיבחו גאולים לשמך אספת הים יחד כולם הודו והמליכו ואמרו אדוני מלך לעולם ועד.
Would you please rise in anticipation of the Amidah? We're on the bottom of page 114. Robbie, come on up as you'll help lead the Amidah with us.
So Yisrael, Kuma be'ezrat Yisrael, V'fedechinu mecha, Yehuda be'Yisrael, Galenu Adonai Tzevaot Shemo, Kedosh Yisrael, Baruch Ata Adonai, Ga'al Yisrael.
Amen. We're on page 115B for the Shachrit, the morning Amidah. Robbie and Cantor will lead us in the beginning of the Amidah out loud and take us through the holy words of the Kedusha all the way up to heaven, and then lead us into silence. The Amidah concludes through page 120. Again, we're going to begin on page 115B with Cantor and Robbie.
Adonai sifatei tiftaf ufi yagi tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avoteinu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor V'Hanara El Elyon Gomel Hasadim Tovim V'konei Hakol V'zocher Chasdei Avot U'mevi Goel Livnei V'neihem Leman Shemo V'Ahava Melech Ozer Ufoked U'Moshiach U'Magen Baruch Atah Adonai Magen Avraham Ufoked Sarah Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai Mechayei Metim Atah Rav Lehoshia Mashiv HaRuach U'Morid HaGashem Mechakel Chaim Bechesed Mechayei Metim Berachamim Rabim Somech Noflim Verofei Cholim U'Matir Asurim U'Mekayem Emunato Lishenei Afar Michamocha Bo Gevurot Umidam Melach Melach Memit U'Mechayeh U'Matmiach Yeshua V'ne'eman Atah L'chayot Metim Baruch Atah Adonai Mechayeh HaMetim
נקדש את שמך בעולם כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום ככתוב היה נביאך וקרא זה אל זה ויאמר קדוש 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 אדוני צבאות מלך כל הארץ מלך כל הארץ כבודו אז בכל רעש גדול עני וחזק משמיעים קול אז בכל רעש גדול עני וחזק משמיעים קול מנסים לעומת שרפים לעומתם ברוך יאמרו ברוך כבר אדוני ממקומו ממקומך מלכנו צופייה ותמלוך עלינו כי מחכים אנחנו לך ענן מצי תמלוך בציון בקרוב בימינו לעולם ועד תשכון כי גדל ותתקדש בתוך ירושלים לך לדובדו ולנצח נצחים עיני ועינינו תיראנה מלכותך כתב המור בשירי זכר על ידי דוד משיח צדקך אם לא חרנה לי למלאך ציון לדובדו הללויה לדובדו נגיד לך ולנצח נצחים קדושך נקדיש ושבחך אלוהינו מפני ימש לעולם ועד כי המלך גדול וקדוש אתה ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Your own Amidah, don't interrupt. We're on page 138.
יקרא ויקרא שמי רבה ויעמד ברכותיה וימלך מלכותיה וחייכון וימכון וחי לכל בית ישראל בגלה בזמן קריב יאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם לעמל מיה יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ולמבין עשה ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלה שמר קדושה ולכולי לעמים כה בחצה ושיבתה תשפחתה ונחמתה גם ירם בימה ויאמרו אמן. תתקבל צלותנו ועדון בכל ישראל כל דם אבוהון דבשמיא ויאמרו אמן. יהי שלום רבה מן שמיא וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו אמן. ועושה שלום רמיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו אמן.
Okay, we've come to that moment we've all been waiting for, right, Robbie? Yep. Okay, so come on up, family, as we begin our Torah service. We've been standing a long time in the sanctuary. If you need to sit, you may be seated briefly. Once we uncover the Torah, I'm going to ask you to rise again. We're on page 139. Okay, so filers, here's the drill, okay? You're not going to uncover yet. Nope. Cantor's going to sing a little bit, and then we're going to uncover, we're going to leave it, and then we're going to hand Robbie the Torah. But I will tell you everything, okay? I promise. We're on page 139, top of the page.
אין כמוך ואלוהים אדוני ואין כמעשיך מלכותך מלכות כל עולמים וממשלתך בכבודו ועדו אדוני מלך אדוני מלך אדוני מלך לעולם ועד אדוני עוז לימו ייתן אדוני יברך את עמו בשלום אב הרחמים השיבה ברצונך את ציון כי בנחמות ירושלים כי בך לבד בטחנו מלך ארם ונישא אדון עולמים.
Okay, we all rise, and our makeshift ark is open. Go ahead and pull that off. Brian, Matthew, will you help him fix his talit a little bit so that when he's holding the Torah, and one day you're going to watch this and you can like snap a picture off of this. Fix him. It takes many years to practice that talit. You're going to leave that there, and then I'll tell you when. Okay. Perfect.
ויהי בצהרון ויאמר משה קומה אדוני ויפוצו אויביך וינוסו משנאיך מפניך כי מציון תצא תורה כי מציון תצא תורה ורבה אדוני מירושלים ברוך שנתן תורה תורה ברוך שנתן תורה תורה לעמו ישראל בקדושתו.
Okay, now you guys are going to take the Torah and hand it to Robbie. He's going to go on his right side and hands on the wood.
Put your right hand down. There you go. Okay, Mom, look up.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shema.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shema.
Gadolu Adonai iti, Urom Shemo Yachtav.
Adonai Hagidula, Ve'agivura, Ve'atiferet, Ve'hanetzach, Ve'ahor, Kechol Bashamayim, U'va'aretz, Lecha Adonai, HaMamlacha, Ve'aminaseh, Lechol Erosh, Ramemu, Ramemu, Adonai Eloheinu, Ve'ishtachavu, Ve'ishtachavu, La'adam Raglav Kadoshu, Ramemu, Ramemu, Adonai Eloheinu, Ve'ishtachavu, Ve'ishtachavu, La'akodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu.
for a few more minutes. Deborah, Larry, okay, we're going to take the Torah, we're going to undress it, and Robbie, take your binder and put it in the shelf where your talit was hiding before the service. Okay, and then you're going to take that Torah and place it on the table. And as it's being undressed, our parsha this morning is Parsha Va'era. We're deep in the heart of Egypt. We've been slaves. God has heard our cry. God has asked Moses to help free the Israelites. And here we are in the second Parsha where Moses knows his task and he appears before Pharaoh. This is the beginning of the plagues. We have 7 out of the 10 plagues where Pharaoh continues to deny Moses' request. And we'll learn much more about this as Robbie gives his Devar Torah in a little bit. Our Torah reading, you can be seated, and our Torah reading can be found in the Eitz Chaim on page 370, chapter 28, verse 25. And those of you following along should have the email. I'm sorry, that's the Haftorah. I'm looking at the wrong thing. I knew that was wrong. Sorry. 361, chapter 8, verse 1. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong place. Page 361, chapter 8, verse 1. And those following along at home should have the one sheet or your Chumash. For the first Aliyah, I'd like to invite Dina Madonna and Michelle Loscan to rise in your seat as you'll have that Aliyah. The bracha is in your seat door, page 142. Ya'amdu Dina ba Pesach Nisan Berachel v'chaya Leah bat Yitzchak Yitol Rishon Baruch Shenatan Torah Le'Mo Yisrael B'Kedusha V'yatem Avikim Adonai Lachem Chaim Kulchem Hayom. Okay, go ahead and give it a kiss where they would have normally.
Baruch Adonai Barach Le'olam Vaed.
Amen. Vayomer Adonai El Moshe Emor El Aharon Neteh Yadecha B'matecha Al Hanarot Al Yorim Ve'al Ha'agamim Ve'al El Hatvarim Al Eretz Mitzrayim Vayed Aharon Eyado Al Mimei Mitzrayim Vatal Hatzvardeya Vatechatz Et Eretz Mitzrayim Vayas Yuchein Hachartumim Bala Tehem Ve'alu Et Hatzvardeim Al Eretz Mitzrayim Vayikra Faro LeMoshe LaHaron Vayomer Hatiru Adonai Vayaser Hatzvardeim Mimeini ume ami ve'ashalcha et ha'am va'izbechu l'Adonai vayomer Moshe Faro hipa'er alai lematai atir lecha ve'la'avadecha u'le'amcha le'hachrit ha'tzefareim mimcha umi batecha rak ba'ya'or tisha arna Vayomer lemachar, vayomer ki dvarecha, leman teda ki ein Adonai Eloheinu.
Give it a kiss. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Nice and loud. Amen.
A tremendous Yasher Koach for Brian Filer. That was awesome. Robbie, how did he do? He did great, right? Thumbs up. And Brian was reading all about the frogs. Here's an important part about the frogs, okay? Just one, humor me, because I love the plagues, and there are so many messages within these plagues. If you do a close reading, apparently the frogs was really just one frog that appeared. And when Pharaoh became irate by this one frog, he sent the Egyptian magicians to deal with this and all the Egyptians. And what did they do? They kept just hitting the frog, and it was like a game of whack-a-mole. And what happened? More frogs multiplied. And what's the lesson of it? the lesson is that hitting something, or when you get frustrated, the more frustrated you get, the worse it is. And perhaps if Pharaoh would have taken a deep breath and just seen that one frog and figured out how to manage that one frog rather than hitting it, there wouldn't have been frogs here, frogs there, and frogs even in his, go figure. Okay, second Aliyah, right? We all sang that song. Page 361, verse 7. For this Aliyah, Brian, are you staying with Robbie? Or?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, perfect. For this Aliyah, Sandra and Cheryl, if you would rise. Ya'amdu Shena Esther B'Chaim V'Dina Basha B'Rivka V'Yosef Moshe V'Zelda Sheni. Give it a kiss for them. You did? Go for it again. Never too many kisses. Go ahead.
Baruch Adonai Barach Le'olam Va'ed. Amen.
Amen. V'saru hatzefardim mimcha u'mibatecha u'me'avdecha u'me'yamecha rak ba'yaor tisha arna v'yitzei Moshe ve'Aharon me'im paro v'yitzak Moshe el Adonai al devar hatzefardim asher sam lefaro Vaya'as Adonai kidavar Moshe Vayamutu hatzefardim min habatim min hachatzerot umin hasadot Vayitbiru otam chomarim vativash haaretz Vayar paro ki haita harvacha v'hachbedet libo v'lashama alehem Ka'asher diber Adonai.
Give it a kiss again.
Amen.
Robbie, Yasher Koach. But you're not done, right? Next, no, not even close. Next Aliyah goes to your parents. Come on up. Matthew, are you? What's the choreography? Are you gonna just
Switch.
them and then okay?
Yeah.
Okay. We're switching. We're switching in the guard. We are at page 362, verse 12. Ya'amdu Deborah ba Moshe v'Chana veYehuda ben Yaakov v'Sara Shlishi. Let them kiss. Robbie, you're off kissing right now. Let mom kiss your talit. Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Barach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Ha'amim V'natan Lanu Et Torato Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vayomer Adonai al Moshe Emor el Aharon Netei et matecha v'hach et afar haaretz v'hayalikinim b'chol eretz Mitzrayim v'ya'asu hen v'yit Aharon et yado v'matehu v'yach et afar haaretz v'tehi hakinam ba'adam uva behema kol afar haaretz Hayachinim b'chol eretz Mitzrayim v'ya'asuhen hachartumim b'latehem v'hotzi et hakinim v'lo yacholu v'tihi hakinam ba'adam uva behema v'yomeru hachartumim el paro et ba Elohim He vayachazak leFaro v'lo shama alehem ka'asher diber Adonai.
No, you gotta do the final bracha. You can't kiss me yet.
Baruch.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Now you can kiss him. You did awesome.
Wow.
Okay, Larry, after you give him a kiss, if you take the not the cover that the Torah was dressed in, but the cover that was over the Torah, and place that over the Torah.
Okay. Robbie, take the card, flip it, Chatzi Kaddish.
And if everyone in this room would please rise. One last fun fact about the plagues, the plague that Robbie just read about. If you notice, Robbie, who unleashed that plague? It wasn't Moses, but it was Aaron. And some of the plagues Moses does, and some of the plagues Aaron does. And the reason the rabbis explain is because Moses can't do anything to those things that saved him or helped him. So he couldn't turn the Nile into blood because he was saved in the Nile when he was a baby floating in the Nile. And he couldn't turn the dust of the earth into lice because the dust of the earth helped him in the middle of his life. So it's the idea of Hakarat Hatov, that recognizing the things that do good to us, we do good as well. So he couldn't do that. And if you think that water and dust doesn't have feelings, Moses reminds us and God reminds us that even if you think that, all the more so you should remember people's feelings. Chatzi Kaddish.
Yit gadol v'yit gadash shemei Rabba. Amen. Be'elma devrachi rutei ve'yamlech malchutei b'chayechonu ve'yomechonu v'chayedecho beit Yisrael ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'imeru. Amen. Ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'imeru. Amen.
Amen.
Yehi Shmei Rabba Mevorach Le'olam Le'omaya Yitbarach Yitbarach V'yishtabach V'yitpa'ar V'yitromam V'yitnaseh V'yithadar V'yitdaleh V'yithalal Shemei Dekudesha
Brichu.
La'ela min kol berchata V'shirata Tushbichata v'nechemata da amirahan be'elma v'imeru amen v'imeru amen v'imeru amen v'imeru amen
Amen.
And we take a moment to offer Mishaberach L'Cholim, a prayer on behalf of all those who are ill. And as we've been saying for weeks on end, we offer prayers to all of those who are fighting this pandemic, whether physically they're fighting COVID-19 themselves, or on the front lines to help others, or helping to make sure our world runs orderly and that we can do the things that are essential to our lives. We offer prayers of gratitude to everyone in those moments. When I pause, please add in the names of those you're thinking of specifically this morning. Yehi ratzon milfanecha t'nai Eloheinu v'Elokei avotenu, shetishlach mehira ufrash le'imam min hashamayim, refuat ha'nefesh, refuat ha'guf, l'chol ha'chulim v'tzipor shalanu, v'tok sha'ar cholei Yisrael, v'nomar amen. May it be your will, Lord our God and God of our ancestors, to send perfect healing of body and of soul and of mind to the following. Binyamin ben Rivka, Blima Golda bat Leah, Reza Drezel bat Bela, Gedalia ben Nachum, Chaim Yisrael ben Bela, Chana Bina bat Rivka Pero, Chaim Eden Shalom ben Alta Brena, Rachel Yafa bat Sarah, Chaya Hinza bat Lila, Moshe Yosef ben Rose, Lior Chaim ben Rivka Devorah, Elchanan ben Shulamit, Yaakov Leah ben Rivka, Masha Eliasha bat Bracha, Andrea Branda, Chaya Freda Gisha bat Heibel, Chaya Sarah bat Fega Minzel, Sarah Henny bat Freda Malka, Leah bat Nechama, Bavar Park, Sarah Hazar bat Liba Chana, Malka bat Bela Rivka, Shlomit bat Leah, Masha Simchat bat Esther, Chaya, and all others who are in need of healing. And we say,
Amen.
You may be seated, and in a moment, Robbie will be called to the Torah as a Bar Mitzvah.
Yamod Yamor, Robbie Bar Mitzvah. Reuven Noach ben Yehuda Dvorah. Maftir Chazak. Take your tzitzit. Kiss the
Take the
Torah.
cover off the Torah.
Take off the cover. Okay. Give a kiss.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Barach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Hamim V'natan Lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Notein HaTorah. Vayomer Adonai El Moshe Emor El Aharon Netei et Matecha V'hach et Afar Haaretz V'haya Lekinim B'chol Eretz Mitzrayim V'ya'asu Chen V'yet Aharon et Yado V'matehu V'yach et Afar Haaretz Vatihi hakinam ba'adam uva behema kol afar haaretz hayachinim bechol eretz mitzrayim vaya'asu chen hachartumim belatehem lehotzi atakinim velo yacholu vatihi hakinam ba'adam uva behema Vayomeru hachartumim el paro et ba Elohim he vayachazak le paro velo shama alehem ka'asher diber Adonai.
Please take your tzitzit, Robbie. Kiss the Torah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chaye olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai notein haTorah.
Amen. Okay, Dad, cover.
Okay. Larry, you're going to take that cover again and cover the Torah. You guys come on up while we offer the Misha Berach for Robbie. You stay right there. You guys are go nowhere. Do you need any water?
Yes.
Okay,
Under-
take some water. And after you have some water, Cantor and I get to offer you Misha Berach at this special moment of blessing.
Misha Berach Avotenu Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah Vayevarach Baruch Bar Mitzvah Reuven Noach ben Yehuda Udvorah Shegil Mitzvot v'Yalam Lechvor HaMakom Lechvor HaTorah v'Lechvor HaShabbat HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yishmerehu v'Yichayehu v'Yichonen et Libo להיות שלם עם אדוני אלוהיו, להגות בתורתו, ללכת בדרכיו ולשמור מצוותיו, וישלח ברכה ויצלחה בכל מעשה ידיו, יזכו הוריו לגדלו לתורה ולחופה ולמעשים טובים, וימצא חן ושכל טוב בין אלה בידם, ונאמר Amen.
Amen. May God, who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless Robbie Filer, who has come here with reverence for God, Torah, and Shabbat, and with perfect Torah reading. To thank God for all the good that has been his since the day of his birth. May the Holy One, praised be he, grant Robbie a long life. May he be at one with the Lord his God, studying his teachings and walking in his paths. And may he prosper in all of his worthy endeavors and find favor before God and man. And may his dear parents rear him to adulthood, imbued with a continued love of Torah and the performance of Ma'asim Tovim, good deeds. And may they be privileged to one day bring him to the chuppah, the wedding canopy, and let us say,
Amen. Simen tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simen tov, mazel tov, simen tov, mazel tov, simen tov, yeah, helanu, kol Yisrael, yeah, helanu, Yisrael, yeah.
Okay, it's time to put that Sefer Torah away. So, Matthew, you're going to help, right? Okay, so we're going to dress that Torah and get that cover back on.
Wait, Matthew, put the Torah on this table first, and then dress it.
Go ahead and
Dad,
pull that
put it down.
closed.
Nice and tight. Matthew, nice and tight.
Okay, Robbie, while they're doing that, get your binder out and put your binder back on that table, and you need your Haftorah and your Devar Torah. And if you need a little bit more water, now's that time. Yes. How did I know? Brian, dress the Bar Mitzvah boy. While they're dressing the Torah, help him.
I can't do this.
It takes listen, Robbie, I just learned last week. It takes a long time. I promise.
You just learned how to fix it last week.
Perfect.
Okay, guys, go sit.
Okay.
Okay, Robbie?
Okay. Our Haftarah this morning can be found either through the email or page 370 in the Eitz Chaim from the book of Ezekiel. And Robbie will chant our Haftarah for us this morning.
Baruch.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bahar b'nevi'im tovim v'ratza v'divreihem hane'emarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai habocher b'Torah u'Moshe avdo u'v'Yisrael amo u'v'nvi'ei ha'emet v'hatzedek. Ko amar Adonai Elohim v'kavetzi et Beit Yisrael min ha'amim asher nafotzu vam v'nkidashti vam l'einei hagoyim v'yashivu al admatam asher natati l'avdi le'Yaakov v'yashivu alecha lavetach uvanu vatim v'nateu cheramim v'yashivu lavetach v'asoti shifatim b'chol hashatim otam miseviv otam v'yadu ki ani Adonai Elohehem. Bashana ha'asirit ba'asiri bishneim asar lachodesh haya devar Adonai elai lemor ben Adam sim panecha al paro melech Mitzrayim v'navei alav ve'al Mitzrayim kula. Daber v'amarta ko amar Adonai Elohim hineni alecha paro melech Mitzrayim hatanim hagadol haravet b'toch ye'orav asher amar li ye'ori va'ani asitini ונתתי חיים בחייך, והדבקתי דגת יאורך בקשקשותיך, והעליתיך מתוך יאורך, ואת כל דגת יאורך בקשקשותיך תדבק. תשתיך המדברה אותך ואת כל דגת יאורך על פני השדה תיפול, לא תיאסף ולא תכבד, לחיית הארץ ולעוף השמיים נתתיך לאוכלה. וידעו כל יושבי מצרים כי אני אדוני, ינהלותם משענת קנה לבית ישראל, ותפסם בחב עקף תירו, ובקעת להם כל כתף, ופי שנם עליך תשבר, והעמדת להם כל מותניים. לכן כה אמר אדוני אלוקים, הנני מביא עלייך חרב, והכרעתי ממך אדם ובהמה, והייתה ארץ מצרים לשממה וחורבה, וידעו כי אני אדוני ין אמר יאור לי, ואני עשיתי. לכן הנני אליך ואל יאורך, ונתתי את ארץ מצרים לחורבות חורך שממה, ממגדל סבני ועד גבול כוש. לא תעבור בה רגל אדם ורגל בהמה לא תעבור בה, ולא תשב 40 שנה. ונתתי את ארץ מצרים שממה בתוך ארצות נשמות, ועריה בתוך ערים החורבות תהיינה שממה 40 שנה. והפיצותי את מצרים בגויים וצריתים בארצות, כי כה אמר אדוני אלוהים, מקץ 40 שנה אקבץ את מצרים מן העמים אשר נפוצו שמה. ושבתי את שבות מצרים, והשיבותי אותם ארץ פטרוס אל ארץ מכורתם, והיו שם ממלכה שפלה, מן הממלכות תהיה שפלה, ולא תתנשא עוד על הגויים, והם עתידים להביא אותי רדות בגויים. ולא יהיה עוד לבית ישראל למבטח מזכיר עוון בפנותם אחריהם, וידעו כי אני אדוני אלוהים. ויהי ב27 שנה בראשון באחד לחודש היה דבר אדוני אלי לאמור, בן אדם, נבוכדנצר מלך בבל העביד את חילו עבודה גדולה אל צור, כל ראש מוכרח וכל כתף מרותח, ושכר לא היה לו ולחילו מצור על העבודה אשר עבד עליך. לכן כה אמר אדוני אלוהים, הנני נותן לנבוכדנצר מלך בבל את ארץ מצרים, Vanasa hamona v'shalal shalala uvezaz biza v'haita sohar l'chelo v'ulato asher avad ba netati lo et eret mitzrayim asher asuli ne'um Adonai Elohim Bayom hahu Atzmiach keren lavet Yisrael U'ra etin pitchon pe betoham Veyadeu ki ani Adonai.
Breathe. Blessings. Baruch.
Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Tzor Kol Ha'olamim Tzadik B'chol Hadorot Ha'el HaNe'eman Ha'omer V'yoseh Ha'medaber U'mkayim B'kol Devorav Emet V'tzedek Ne'eman Ata Hu Adonai Eloheinu V'ne'emanim Devarecha V'davor Echad Midvarecha Achor Lo Yashuv Rekam Ki el melech ne'eman v'rachaman ata Baruch ata Adonai
Baruch Hu Baruch Shema.
El hane'eman b'chol devarav
Amen.
Rachem al Tzion ki hi beit chayinu v'la'aluvat nefesh tushia b'mheira v'yameinu Baruch ata Adonai
Baruch Hu Baruch Shema.
V'sameach Tzion b'vaneha
Amen.
Samchenu Adonai Eloheinu be'Eliyahu hanevi avdecha uv'malchut Beit David Meshichecha b'mheira yavo ve'agel livenu al kiso lo yeshev zar ve'lo yinchalu odacherim et kvodo ki v'shem kodshecha nishbata lo shelo yachabene ro le'olam va'ed Baruch ata Adonai
Baruch Hu Baruch Shema.
Magen David
Amen.
Al HaTorah Ve'al HaVodah Ve'al HaNevi'im Ve'al Yom HaShabbat Hazeh Shenatata lanu Adonai Eloheinu L'kdesha ve'limnucha L'chavod u'latif oret Al HaKol Adonai Eloheinu Anachnu modim lach V'rachim otach Yitbarach Shimcha b'fi kol chai Tamid le'olam va'ed Baruch ata Adonai
Baruch Hu Baruch Shema.
Mekadesh HaShabbat
Amen. Shekach.
Shakaf. That was perfect. Go ahead, drink water. Take a deep breath. Good? Do you need any more?
No, I'm good.
Okay, deep breath. Okay, now get your Devar Torah ready. Put that where your talit was. Yep. And remember, slow, loud, and clear. And if you would give your attention to Robbie as he delivers his Bar Mitzvah Devar Torah.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
The name of my parsha is Parshat Vayera. In my parsha, we learn about the first 7 plagues that were brought upon Egypt. The Israelites have been under Pharaoh's control as slaves for a long time. Moshe was summoned by God to help free the Israelites. The first time that Moshe demanded that the Israelites be set free, Pharaoh denied his request. My parsha starts with Moshe and Aaron telling Pharaoh that there will be plagues on the Egyptians if he keeps on denying the Israelites freedom. Pharaoh does not believe them and keeps rejecting them time after time. Pharaoh realizes that his actions have consequences once he sees that the Nile River is filled with blood instead of water. This goes on for 7 plagues in my parsha. In next week's parsha, the story continues for another 3 plagues and Pharaoh has had enough with the plagues and agrees to free the Israelites. The idea that I like best in Parshat Va'era is how Moshe and Aaron had to keep trying time after time until they got what they wanted. This is shown when they repeatedly went to Pharaoh asking to free the Israelites. Their actions demonstrate that Moshe and Aaron never gave up. They persevered through Pharaoh's rejections for 9 times until finally Pharaoh gave in. They knew that Pharaoh would not say yes the first time, but they knew that he would have to give in eventually. Moshe and Aaron knew that this would not be easy, even though God sent them on this task. Knowing that the people God sent could not get what they wanted instantly, it shows that we also cannot get what we want right away. My parsha relates to my life in a few different ways, and I will share the example that I like the most. A few years ago, I tried out for my town's basketball team. I ended up not making the final cut, so I had to play in a different organization. I was upset, but I was not expecting to make the team after I saw some of the other kids' talent at the tryout. I kept practicing and training until the next tryout rolled around. At the next year's tryout, I was feeling a lot more confident in myself than I was at the tryout the year before. I was making my shots and outplaying many of the kids that were on the team that previous year. I went home with a great attitude, feeling excited. I felt that feeling even more when I received the email that I had made the team. This goes back to the lesson of not giving up. I did not have to play on that team and could have decided to stay where I was. But I wanted to play on that team, so I kept on trying. I was not positive that I would make it, but I kept on trying and eventually got what I wanted. This proves that with hard work and confidence, I can achieve my goals. In the future, I will be sure to remember this lesson. I will use it whether it is trying out for new teams or applying for future jobs. I will use this lesson later in life when I need to persevere and not give up. For my Kids Who Care project, I wanted to find a way to give food to less fortunate children. I worked with the Center for Food Action and put together 500 bags of snacks for kids so far and hope to make more. I wanted to tie it in with basketball. I went outside and played basketball for a minute per every dollar donated by my friends and family. I'm calling this program Hoops for Hunger. I enjoyed helping others while also being able to play basketball for a good cause. And now, thank you to Cantor Sokoloff for teaching me everything that I needed to know for my bar mitzvah. Thank you for teaching me my Haftorah, Torah readings, and prayers. Thank you, Rabbi Monasov, for helping me write my Dvar Torah. Thank you to Rabbi Kanaz and all of my past religious school teachers for helping me learn about Judaism. Thank you to everyone who donated towards my bar mitzvah project. Thank you to everyone for joining me virtual, as well as the people who joined me here on this special day in the synagogue. Thank you to Matthew for asking me to play cards after every Shabbat dinner. Thank you for everything, all the way from helping me with my bar mitzvah preparation to making me cookies at midnight. Thank you to Brian for playing ping pong with me every night. Thank you for listening to me when I'm practicing for my bar mitzvah, for playing video games, and for being a good workout buddy. Thank you both for being the best big brothers I can have. Thank you, Dad, for teaching me about life, sports, and watching games with me, for playing basketball with me and coming to all of my games. Thank you for helping me with anything I ask, and I will be taller than you by high school. Thank you for always supporting me. Love you, Dad. Finally, thank you, Mom, for doing so much for me, from making pancakes and waffles for me during virtual school, playing games and hanging out with me, helping me with anything I need or ask, and always being there for me even when I don't ask for help. I know you love me lots, but I love you more. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Perfect. One question for you. How do you know you're going to be taller than your dad? By high school?
I feel it.
Because he's the youngest.
For sure? Okay, so we're going to have to, this is all like going to be saved, right? Because this is 2021. So Larry, you'll come back in the first day of high school and we'll check this out, okay? Deal. Here's the one thing I do know. You'll be taller than me for sure. Okay. Deborah, Larry, you're going to come talk to him?
Do I stay?
You stay. That I know for sure too. Are you taller than your brothers yet or no? No. Are your brothers taller than Dad? Matthew is. Okay, so that's a lot riding on that, Brian. That's a lot riding on it. Okay, Brian, you're not taller than Dad. We'll check that out. We're gonna check that out. You got your tissues?
It's a tough act to follow. Good morning and Shabbat Shalom to our family and friends, both in person at the synagogue and those watching us virtually over the live stream. Our family and friends are both near and far, and we do have cousins that are watching us today live from New Zealand. So we thank them. It's early Sunday morning. We thank them for being here. We are so glad that you were able to join us today and hope everyone is staying safe and healthy. We would first like to thank those who have been instrumental in helping Robbie prepare for this special day. We would like to thank Cantor Sokolov for his tireless effort in helping Robbie with his bar mitzvah lessons. We would also like to thank Rabbi Manasov for our help with Robbie's Devar Torah, but more importantly, for being a voice of reason and a leader when our community needs her most. Lastly, we would also like to thank Rabbi Kanaz for all of her support and encouragement through Robbie's religious school experience. Although 2020 had been a challenging year for most, we are happy to start 2021 with a simcha, or happy occasion, in celebrating Robbie's bar mitzvah. Robbie, I remember my bar mitzvah pretty vividly. I prepared and studied so much that I became anxious and couldn't sleep the night before. I definitely remember what you went through, and yet you handled it much better than I. Robbie, this whole bar mitzvah process didn't seem to make you frustrated or anxious, and you handled it like a champ. Robbie, since you were born, we always wondered if you would be able to keep up with your older brothers. However, both of your grandmothers would always ask Mom and I if your older brothers could keep up with you. You always seemed to have a boundless amount of energy. You are also a kind-hearted and compassionate young man who always looks out for your friends and did so even at a young age. When you were in nursery school, you got very upset when one of the children took a toy from a friend, so you took it back and returned it to the friend who was using it first. You knew right from wrong as you stood up for a classmate who was being bullied in the playground in elementary school. You also have great leadership skills that will serve you well into the future. Robbie is also a sneakerhead who needs to have the coolest kicks. That's slang for sneakers for us old people when a new hot pair becomes available. You have always had a love for basketball, and your game and skill has improved substantially as a result of the hard work you put in. This also reflects the effort you put in with your bar mitzvah lessons. While you aced your test, you nailed the three-pointer today. Robbie, please know that we love you and we are very proud of you.
Thank you. Your turn.
Put the tissues down.
Listen, here come the tears.
Deborah, use the mic too, okay?
Okay.
Face the front.
Robbie, my Bubba, my little man, I hope you know that you have brought so much joy and happy tears to Dad and I and your brothers Matthew and Brian, not only today, but for the past 13 years. You were the bomb today. You did an unbelievable job. We were a little concerned when we decided not to send you to Schechter, as we did for your brothers, that you may not embrace the Jewish values that our family holds so dear. But boy, did you prove us wrong. not only today, but always. The way you partake in our kiddushes at our Shabbat dinners, embrace the Jewish holidays and rituals, and participate very actively in religious school. You exuded confidence in the way you chanted your Torah and Haftorah portions and led parts of the morning service. You did a fabulous job. The Torah teaches us many important lessons and responsibilities that come with being a bar mitzvah. One important lesson from your parasha this week is, if at first you don't succeed, then try again. This speaks to Robbie's life and is also an important lesson in life. When Robbie wants something, boy, does he go after it. And he instantly becomes a master negotiator and will not take no for an answer. I definitely think that you have the potential of becoming a great litigator someday. The Torah was passed on to us, and this morning, Robbie, we pass it on to you. You need to learn a few things as you embark on becoming a Jewish adult. Today, or tomorrow, aren't just about having socially distanced celebrations. This is about you becoming a man in the eyes of God, and you need to follow the Jewish laws. Please remember, always do the right things, and continue to give back to your community. We hope that you'll continue to do the volunteer work that you've started for your bar mitzvah, and that you'll always find a way to help others who are less fortunate. You need to remember that as you become a bar mitzvah, you are following in the tradition of your Jewish ancestors. We hope that following Jewish tradition will always be as important to you in the future as it is to us now. We are so thankful to have many friends and family who were able to join us here today in person, and thanks to technology, even though it's Shabbat. We are also grateful that Grandma Harriet and Grandpa Jack are among those watching your service today. But there are several important people in our lives that we also need to remember today. We are saddened that Papa Marvin, Zichrono Livracha, and Grandma Susan, Zichrona Livracha, are unable to be here with us today to share in the joy of seeing you become a bar mitzvah. But we know that they are definitely watching over you and are very proud of you today. Robbie, Dad, Matthew, Brian, and I love you. We are all so proud of you. And we pass this Torah to you with all of its lessons and values. So you will study it, practice it, cherish it, and pass it on to future generations to come. L'dor vador nagid gad lecha. Shabbat Shalom.
Beautiful. Okay. If you guys go back to your seat, it's my turn. You know what I was thinking, Robbie?
What?
There's a positive of all the masks. What would have happened if you weren't wearing a mask today? Your whole face would have been schmutz with mommy's lipstick all the time, right? Knowing your mommy well enough? Am I right, Deborah? I was thinking about that as there were a bunch of kisses, which are so appropriate, but you got saved from lipstick. But listen, later on, make sure you get a little smudge, okay? It's pretty hard to follow those. Those were amazing. And thanks, Larry, for teaching me what a three-pointer was. I was trying to think about the metaphor of how you I was thinking a slam dunk was this morning for you, Robbie, but I think a three-pointer or a slam dunk, one of those. I'm gonna learn basketball, maybe. Okay, so bracha for you. Parsha begins in a strange way. So we didn't read the beginning of the Parsha, but bear with me. The Parsha begins with God saying to Moses, I'm God. My name is Yud He Vav He. And I appeared to your ancestors. I appeared to Abraham, I appeared to Isaac, and I appeared to Jacob. And to them I had a different name. I was El Shaddai. But you know and I know that the Torah tries to be very concise. And the rabbis wonder, why does the Torah say, I appeared to Abraham, I appeared to Isaac, and I appeared to Jacob? It would be easier if your English teacher said to you, write this sentence in the least amount of words. You'd say, God said, I appeared to your ancestors. I appeared to Abraham and his people. But God's teaching us a really important message in this statement. God says, I appeared to Abraham because Abraham was fierce. Abraham understood how to make the world better. And I saw a partner in Abraham in making the world better. And I appeared to Isaac, maybe because he was Abraham's son, but not really, because Isaac was fierce and understood how to be on this journey with me and how to speak to me as God. And I appeared to Jacob, maybe because he was Abraham's grandson, but more to the point because Jacob earned it. And Jacob was a righteous individual, and he too knew how to speak to me. They all spoke to me differently, but each of them knew how to have a relationship with me. And each in their own way. God didn't appear to Abraham the same way God appeared to Isaac. And God didn't appear to Jacob the same way he appeared to his father and his grandfather. It was all different. You are the third. And it's easy to be the baby of the family. And it's easy to be Robbie Filer. It takes somebody powerful, and somebody strong, and somebody confident to be the third, and to be outspoken, and to find your own path. It's easy to be a Filer. I imagine you walk into this synagogue, when we walked into synagogues on a regular basis, and everyone knew who Robbie Filer was, right? You walked into religious school, and you carry the weight of your family. Your brothers volunteered in the religious school. Your mom is here more than I am here in the synagogue doing great things. And everyone knows the name Filer. So it's easy to sit in the back of the room and goof off. Because everyone thinks a Filer kid is a good kid. So whatever he does is going to be good. It takes somebody of confidence, of goodwill, of greatness to be more than that. To be good because that's your neshama. That's your soul, and that's who you are. To not rest in being Matthew and Brian's brother, and Larry and Deborah's son, and resting on being a Filer, but to be good because you're good. I watched that. I watched you. And you found your own path. You're not just the little brother, and you're not just little Filer, but you've made your name for yourself. And here's my bracha for you. To continue to do that. As your mom said, you didn't go to Schechter, you forged your own path. So nobody ever called you little Filer at school. But I imagine in the world you were little Filer. I imagine people that know your family know you well. My bracha for you is to find that relationship. Find that relationship with God. Your parents have started it for you. They've started that relationship from your religious school education to everything that happens in your home and the way that your parents have passed Torah to you, and I've watched that. But find God and find the world in your own way. Because you're going to take what was passed to you, the same way what was passed from Abraham to Isaac to Jacob, and they did extraordinary things and set Moses up for extraordinary feats of being able to free the Israelites and lead them. The same way your parents have set you up. And I can't wait to continue to watch that relationship you create with God and the way that you transform this world because of who you are, not just because you're the third child, but because you are incredible and extraordinary and can make a difference in the world. Mazel tov and welcome. Okay, I want to give you the priestly blessing, but I can't put my hands on your hair, and I wouldn't want to mess that up. That is gorgeous hair. Go ahead, everyone in that row, put your hands on Robbie's head nicely. Okay, good. You can stick your hands out. That's fine. If you can't reach, stick your hands out. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and keep you. Ye'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichunecha. May God enlighten your life and be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God lift his countenance upon you and grant your family and you a lifetime filled with health, happiness, prosperity, and peace. And we say, Amen. Cantor and I have the privilege of saying a Shechianu in this moment. But before we do, both from Cantor and me, thank you. Thank you for the friendship. I don't think I remember a single day of not knowing you guys in my time in the synagogue. I think I started and immediately you were part of my lives. So thank you for letting us be on that journey. I know both of us so much enjoyed being able to celebrate Robbie's Bar Mitzvah. We missed, as I said last night, we missed the big boys, but we get to be here. And thank you for all that you do for the synagogue. I don't know anybody who spends more time in the synagogue than you, Deborah Filer, but thank you. You were my Tuesday mornings back in the day, though I used to encourage you to cheat, which might not have been the right thing to do as a rabbi, to say to cheat at Mahjong, so you shouldn't cheat at Mahjong, but you should win. But from thinking about everything that you've done, I can't even think about all of the roles that you've had here, but sitting on the board and sisterhood and board of ed, and I'm going to forget something, so I'm going to stop listing that off, but thank you for thinking about ways to make our synagogue better. You certainly passed that Torah on. And to the family, thank you. Thank you for letting us be on this journey and counting us as part of your team and helping to be part of that. I know Cantor and I are both very grateful for that.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה.
Sustains us in life and helped us reach this holy and joyous moment. Say amen. There are gifts from the synagogue that are somewhere near your pew. The synagogue is tremendously proud and celebrates with you, and we hope that you'll use the Shabbos candlesticks and Kiddush cup to bring in Shabbat week in and week out at all of your Shabbos celebrations, and know that the synagogue is thinking of you during this moment. We're going to continue with our service.
Robbie?
And not yet. It's a big week in our country. It's not just a big week for the filers. It's a big week in our country. And as we go into this week, I know we all have there's a lot of emotion. So as we go into the week, it's only appropriate to say a prayer for our country. So indulge me as we add prayers for the safety and well-being of our country and the ideals that we hold so dear and that make our country the best in the world. Page 148. Our God and God of our ancestors, we ask your blessings for our country, for its government, for its leaders and advisors, and for all who exercise just and rightful authority. Teach them insights from your Torah, that they may administer all affairs of state fairly, that peace and security, happiness and prosperity, justice and freedom may forever abide in our midst. Creator of all flesh, bless all the inhabitants of our country with your spirit. May citizens of all races and creeds forge a common bond in true harmony, to banish hatred and bigotry, and to safeguard the ideals and free institutions that are the pride and glory of our country. May this land under your providence be an influence for good throughout the world, uniting all people in peace and freedom, helping them to fulfill your vision of your prophet. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they experience war anymore. And let us say, Amen.
Amen.
Now, Robbie, you ready? Back up, page 151, we continue with Ashrei, and Robbie will once again lead us. It's okay, you know what? It was most important that it was good during your Torah reading and your Haftarah. And when this is all over, when I check to make sure you're taller than Dad in high school, we'll practice.
Ashrei yoshvei veitecha, od yahalalucha selah.
Ashrei shekachalo, Ashrei sharanai Elohav.
Tehillah leDavid, aramimcha Elohai hamelech, v'avarcha shimcha le'olam va'ed.
V'chol yamav v'ala shimcha le'olam va'ed.
Gadol Adonai halal me'od, ve'ligdulato ein cheker.
V'ledoi shabach masecha, gvurotecha yagidu.
Hadar kivod hodecha, v'divrei niflotecha asicha.
V'zuz nerotecha yameru, gdulatecha asaprana.
Zecher rav tucha yabiu, v'tzidkatcha yiranenu.
Hanan v'rachum Adonai, yerecha paim ugda chased.
Tov Adonai lakol, v'rachamav al kol ma'asav.
Yedu Adonai kumasecha, v'chasidecha yivachucha.
Kivod malchutayo meru, ugvurotecha yidaberu.
V'di livnei adam gvurotav, v'chvod adam malchuto.
Malchut ha-malchut kol olamim, umemshaltecha bechol dor v'ador.
Sumech Adonai lecho hanoflim, v'zakef lecho hakifufim.
Einei kol elecha yesaberu, v'ata noten lahem et tochlan be'ito.
V'teach et yadecha, u'maspia lecho chai ratzon.
Tzadik Adonai bechol derachav, v'chasid bechol ma'asav.
V'rov Adonai lecho korav, lechol asher yikra'u v'emet.
Ritzon yereav ya'aseh, ve'et shavatam yishma v'yoshiyim.
Shemer Adonai kol ohava, v'iko hashayim yashmid.
Tehilat Adonai yedaber pi, v'yivarech kol basar shem kodsho le'olam va'ed.
V'anachnu nevarech ya, me'ata v'yad olam. Hallelujah.
Yasher koach. Well done. You can go back to your seat. I want to share one brief thought before we say the Musaf Amidah. Those of us who joined last night remember that Cantor started off Kabbalat Shabbat with the melody of We Shall Overcome, bringing us into marking that this weekend is not just holy for celebrating Robbie's Bar Mitzvah, but it's also Martin Luther King Jr. weekend. And it's intriguing to think about the world that Martin Luther King Jr. lived in our world now, and the lessons that we can learn from Martin Luther King Jr. And I want to share it through conversations that I had with my children, both last night and this morning, to frame it, and thinking about Robbie and the world he's inheriting. So last night at dinner, we discussed Martin Luther King Jr. and Rosa Parks, and what they did to make the world better, thinking about their bravery and their boldness. And the realization that we had was it wasn't so long ago that Martin Luther King Jr. and Rosa Parks existed, right? You can think about it and you learn about it as history, but it wasn't ancient. It was more recent than we thought. And thinking about the ability to stand up for what they believe in. Hold that thought. And this morning, my little one came in wild. It was 7 a.m, and the first thing she says to me is, "Mommy, I didn't get a mensch card, and I do really good things at school." So the school they go to, if they do menschy things, they get a mensch card. And she said to me, "I told the lady who cleans our school now because of COVID that she could be my friend. And every time I see her, I say hi to her. Why didn't I get a mensch card?" And I said to her, "Do you do that because you want to get a mensch card, or do you do that because you're a good person?" It's big for a 5-year-old to understand. Perhaps she answered in the wrong way, but we'll get there. Martin Luther King Jr. and Rosa Parks and everyone else who stood up for what was right didn't do it so that their names would be emblazoned in our history. Didn't do it for the mensch card, but did it to make the world better. Did it for the people who came after them to not suffer in the way that they did. That's the holy lesson of Martin Luther King. That's what this weekend is. It's about doing the right thing, not because of the accolades you're going to get, but because you can make a difference in the world. And you never know when you say, I won't move to the back of the bus, what that's going to do for the person after you. And I think about that in terms of your mitzvah project, Robbie. Put together 500 snack packs. That's incredible. I have to put together 50 over the weekend for something I signed up for, and that seems daunting. So think about that. 500 snack packs for people in need. And you didn't do that so that you had something to say for your bar mitzvah. Because you know as well as I do, I said we live in COVID. Mitzvah projects are different now. And to say 500 means you went above and beyond. It wasn't just for the mensch card, but it was for feeding all of those people who need it. That is the greatest honor you can give to Martin Luther King weekend. Thinking about how you make the world better, not because you're going to get a card that says you're a mensch. We all know Robbie Feiler's a mensch. But because you know that after those snack packs are delivered, there's not one, there's not 50, there's 500 people who know they're not going to go hungry over the weekend because of you, and however many. So as we go into Martin Luther King weekend and we celebrate Robbie's Bar Mitzvah, the celebration continues. Do something. Do something small. Do something big. Not because you're going to be known for it, but because for one person, 2 people, 100, you can make the world better. That's what Martin Luther King and Rosa Parks and everyone else taught us. Our actions matter. People are watching, and there are people that benefit from the goodness. And that's Torah, the door of a door as well. With that, let's daven. Not only did Martin Luther King know how to give a good speech, but he knew davening was essential as well. We rise for Musaf, Chatzi Kaddish, page 155.
Yikadal v'yikadash merabah, v'yamar yivarach cheruteh v'yamlich malchuteh, b'chayechon v'yamechon v'chayerecho bet Yisrael, b'agela b'zman kariv yimeru, amen. Yesh merabah mevorach, le'olam le'yameh maya, yitbarach v'yishkabach v'yitpa'a v'yirma v'yinaseh, Virada virada vitala shmer kudusha berechu leila minko bechata v'shirata mishpechata v'nechemata damiran me'alema v'yimeru Amen.
We're on page 156b. The cantor will take us through the beginning of the Amidah and lead us into silence.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim v'Konei Hakol v'Zocher Chasdei Avot ומביגה לבני בניהם למען שמו ביהבה מלך עוזר ופוקד ומושיע ומגן ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם ופוקד שרה אתה גיבור לי אלם אדוני מחיים איתי מטריו להושיע משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם מחכה חיים בחסד מחיה מתים ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורפא חולים, ומציל אסירים, ומקיים אמונתו, לשני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי מדומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיים ומצמיח ישועה ונאמרת לחיות מתים ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי המתים נעריצך ונק אישך, כיסות שיח, ספק קודש, המקדישים שמך בקודש, ככתוב ינביאך, וקרא זה ואמר, קדוש קדוש קדוש, אדוני צבאות, מלך על הארץ כבודו. כבודו מלא עולם, משרתיו שרים זה לזה, האם יקום כבגלים אתם ברוך יאמרו, ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו, מקומו יפן ברחמים, ויחונם ויחד עם שמו, ערב הבוקר בכל יום תמיד, פעמיים ביבמה שמה אומרים, שמה ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד, הוא אלוהינו אבינו, הוא מלכנו מושיענו, והוא ישמיענו ברחמיו שנית, לעיני כל חי, להיות לכם לאלוהים. בדברי קודשך כתוב לאמור, ימלוך אדוני לעולם אלוהי ציון, לדברו הללויה, לדברו נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש, ושבחך אלוהינו, ותנו לי ממש לעולם ועד, כי המלך גדול וקדוש אתה, ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש. יקרא ויקרא שמרבה, בעמר יברח רותה ומלך מלכותה בחייכון ומכון ובחייך בית ישראל, בגלה בזמן קריב אמרו אמן. יהי שמי רב המבורך, לעולם לימי ומיה, יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר וימבינעשה וירדע וירלה וירלה שמר קודשה, ברכו לעילא מן כל ברכתה ושירתה ושבחתה ונחמתה, תמידם בימה ויאמרו אמן. תתקבל צלותנו ואורון לכל ישראל, כל דם אבהוני ושמיה ויאמרו אמן. יהי שלום הרב מן שמיה וחיים עלינו ויעקב ישראל ויאמרו אמן. ועושה שלום במרומיו ויעשה שלום עלינו ויעקב ישראל ויאמרו אמן. אמן.
But they're going to stand again.
Okay. Enek Elohenu, Enek Adonenu, Enek Makenu, Enek Mashiachenu, Mich Elohenu, Mich Adonenu, Mich Makenu, Mich Mashiachenu, Nadel Elohenu, Nadel Adonenu, Nadel Makenu, Nadel Mashiachenu, Baruch Elohenu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshiachenu, Atahu Elohenu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshiachenu, Atahu Shephetiru, Avoteinu, Lefanecha, Eketoret Hasamim.
I said you'd be standing again. Page 183. Robbie, you ready? Come on up. We sing Aleinu all together, and Robbie will lead us.
Aleinu.
Aleinu shabeach ladon hakol
Lotei kedua leotzer
bereshit shelo asanu kigoyei haratzot velo samanu kemishpachot ha'adama shelo sam kalkinu kahem v'goralenu kechol hamonam v'anachnu korim u'mishtachavim u'modim לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא שהוא נוטה שמיים ויסד הארץ ומושב עיקרו בשמיים ממעל ושכינתי זו בגובהי מרומים הוא אלוהינו אין עוד Emet Malkeinu Efezulato Kakatu B'Torato V'yadatayim V'ota Elavavecha Ki Adonai Hu Elohim B'Shamayim Ima'al V'Haaretz מתחת אין עוד על כן נקרב לך ואדוני לראות ומהבת ותשח ככתוב בתורת אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד
Well done. Okay, go back. You're going to come up one more time, I know, but go back meantime, okay? Page 184, Mourner's Kaddish. Yikadal v'yikadash shemei rabah.
Amen.
V'yamat yivrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayichon u'vyomechon u'chayei techol beit Yisrael v'agala u'bizman kariv v'yimru amen.
Amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mevorach le'olam u'lomei omaya.
Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yitrumam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei tekudasha
Barichu.
Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata Tushbechata v'nechamata, Damiran bi'ama v'imru amen.
Amen.
Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
Amen.
Oseh shalom b'mramav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Shabbat shalom, everyone, and Mazel Tov. A tremendous yasher koach goes to Cancer for leading us in our davening. You were off on Torah reading today. You had no Torah reading. Yasher koach goes to Brian Filer for
But the
helping
next
with-
6 weeks I do.
Right. Unless Brian wants to come back and Robbie. Yasher koach, Brian, for your Torah reading. And the biggest yasher koach goes to you, Robbie. You were great. You got a 3-pointer and a foul shot and a hoop in one, whatever they call it. What is it? No.
Hole in one.
A hole in one. I was thinking a home run, but that's wrong too, Larry. What is it? Slam dunk. Thank you. See, you always need help from friends to find the right sports account, right sports words. But really, you were outstanding, and we were all very proud of you. We expected you to be good, but not just because you're a filer, but because we've been watching you and watching you grow and make your own place in the community. So we can't wait for the time when you can be back up on the Bima reading Torah for our community and davening and all of that. And a tremendous mazel tov. Larry, Deborah, mazel tov, and thank you. And you know, as I mentioned, everything that Deborah does for our community, and I left things out in committees and whatever, it doesn't go unnoticed, Larry, that you help in that there's sacrifices that are made to be able to give to the community, time and effort that I know she's here and she's not home. So thank you. Thank you for us benefiting and all the things that you do for our community as well. Don't laugh at that, Brian. But thank you. And Deborah, you take a week off before Purim, but only a week. Okay, good. And it's great to be together. Mazel tov to everyone who's celebrating. A few short announcements. Tonight, Havdalah is at 5:45. 5:45. Shabbos is getting a little bit longer. The days are getting longer. So join us for Havdalah. Join us at 7:15. There's a community-wide program, which should be amazing. Dr. Jared is the CMO of Holy Name Hospital, and Holy Name has really been on the front lines. He has helped the Jewish community in extraordinary ways. He helped the RCBC, the Rabbinical Council of Bergen County, when this all started. He's been a person of resource for the North Jersey Board of Rabbis and for Federation as well. And it is incredible that the RCBC, North Jersey Board of Rabbis, and Federation is coming together to sponsor this event. So 7:15, there's information on our weekly flyer of how to sign up through Federation, who's hosting the event. And check out, there's a Kahoot tomorrow night and other things happening during the week. So see the weekly email so you can join us and we can enjoy time together. We do offer condolences to Jeffrey Schwartz on the passing of his father last week. To Jeffrey, that God should comfort him among the mourners of Zion and Jerusalem. With that, we're going to conclude with the Don Olam. Robbie, Brian, come on up. Help lead a Don Olam. You can take your talis off. I promise. Yep.
Just give it to Mom.
Give it to Mom. She's going to fold it. Page 187. Let's join together. You start your brothers off. Okay, you're in charge.
one? Alright. Adon Allah,
Adon Olam.
Asher Malach,
Asher Malach.
B'Terem Kol,
B'Terem Kol.
Yitzir Nivra,
Yitzir Nivra.
Le'it Nasa,
Le'nasa.
Behefsa Kol,
L'chefsa Kol. Hazar Melech Shemonika Adon Olam.
Ve'aharon, Kechlotach Kol, Levado Yimloch Nara Adon Olam, Ve'hu Haya, Ve'hu Hoveh, Ve'hu Yeh B'Tifara Adon Olam,
Adon Olam.
Asher Malach,
Asher Malach.
B'Terem Kol,
B'Terem Kol.
Yitzir Nivra,
Yitzir Nivra.
Le'it Nasa,
Le'nasa.
Behefsa Kol,
L'chefsa Kol. Hazar Melech Shemonika Adon Olam.
Ve'hu Echad, Ve'ein Sheni, Laham Shelo Lehachbira Adon Olam, B'li Reshit, B'li Tachlit, Ve'lo Ha'oz Ve'ha'misra Adon Olam, Adon Olam. Olam,
Adon Olam,
Asher Malach,
Asher Malach,
B'terem Kol,
B'terem Kol,
Yitzir Nivra,
Yitzir Nivra,
Le'ed Nasa,
Le'ed Nasa,
B'chefsa Kol,
Chefsa Kol, Azar Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam,
Vehu Eli, V'chai Goeli, V'tzor Havli, V'etzara Adon Olam, Vehu Nisi, Umanosli, Min Akusi Bayom Ekra Adon Olam, Adon Olam,
Adon Olam,
Asher Malach,
Asher Malach,
B'terem Kol,
B'terem Kol,
Yitzir Nivra,
Yitzir Nivra,
Le'ed Nasa,
Le'ed Nasa,
B'chefsa Kol,
B'chefsa Kol, Azar Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam,
Beyado Afkid Ruchi, Be'et Yishan Ve'ahira Adon Olam, Ve'im Ruchi, Givianti, Adon Ali Ve'la'ira Adon Adon Olam,
Adon Olam,
Asher Malach,
Asher Malach,
B'terem Kol,
B'terem Kol,
Yitzir Nivra,
Yitzir Nivra,
Le'ed Nasa,
Le'ed Nasa,
B'chefsa Kol,
Chefsa Kol, Azar Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom, everyone, and Mazel Tov. Yasher Koach. Well done.
Robbie, take your binder. Yad.
Just a point of information for everyone joining. We're so glad you were here. If you would just leave your Siddur and your Eitz Chaim in your seat so that can be rotated out. And we're going to make our way out. We're going to maintain social distancing and all of that so that we can keep ourselves healthy and safe. Shabbat shalom, everyone, and Mazel Tov.
Whew.